What made you decide to become involved in animal therapy?
Okay. Probably Teddy himself, being the kind of personality that we saw he had, and how people were just so attracted to him, and how calm he was. You know, I was like, yeah, he's got such a good temperament. I bet you he would make a good therapy dog.
Really?
You know, that just the phrase came out of my mouth, and then I just started doing some investigating and said, well, we'll just see what happens, see where it goes. And
Like, so you got Teddy and then thought,
yes,
what a therapy
I didn't
dog.
seek.
You didn't?
No.
Okay. See, I was thinking you were seeking a therapy dog.
No, not at all.
Okay.
In fact, I was even seeking a dog that day.
Oh, really? You just
No.
Oh, okay.
I had dogs. I wasn't looking for another dog, and so I went to the pound, and I thought, well, let's volunteer at the pound today and see if we can volunteer with the cats. We were just going to go help them with the cats. And so they told us when we got there that my kids were too young because they were little, and I said, oh, okay, well, while we're here, let's just look at the dogs. And then I saw Teddy in his cage, and he was just, we were walking, what it was, we were walking along, oh, look at this dog, and all the dogs are, how they are. Oh, except for him. He was just sitting there like this, just sitting there looking at me, not barking, not jumping, just sitting there. I went, oh, okay, and then I came back. I said, you know what? Can I just see that dog? And so they said sure. And he immediately came over and immediately jumped up on the bench that they have there and sat down next to me. And that's all he did. He just came and he sat down next to me, and I was like, okay, his whole demeanor, it was just so laid back. And I said, oh my gosh, this dog is just great. And I had small children, and I said, what a great, and my other dogs were kind of old, this would be such a great family dog. And so yeah, he found me, I guess you could say.
Yeah. What organization are you a part of?
It was the Therapy Dog organization. In fact, I saved you a magazine, and you are welcome. I'm going to let you borrow that if you want to look through it. So it's the Therapy Dogs Incorporated, and the group, I think it's Pause to Care is the group that is in Greenville. And they're the ones that do the testing. Okay. And then you become a national member through TDI.
How did he do with all the qualifications, with certification?
Yeah, that was kind of a joke. Yeah, because they would make them walk on different surfaces. Because you never know when you're in a hospital or anyplace else, will they walk across it, Then they would just come up to him, just suddenly come up to him without any warning and just start petting him. And they would pet him all over the place, just to see his reaction. That was his reaction, right? And then they would try to startle him, or they'd walk towards him with a walker. Because or a wheelchair, and see how he reacts. See if he backs away or barks. And then the startle one was funny because I got startled. It's like they just came up to him and just went, and they opened up an umbrella.
Oh my god!
Just popped open an umbrella suddenly, and he
didn't do anything.
Didn't flinch, nothing.
Where and how often did you and Teddy go on visits?
Well, in the beginning, you had to do something like 4 group visits before they would pass. And so I would go to Greenville for those. And one was at the psychiatric place. Then we also went to, and those were mostly adults. And then we went to another place that was mostly kids, like teenagers, troubled teens. And then we also went to the Children's Hospital in Greenville and went to the ward where, the cancer and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then we went to a church function. That was tough because there was food everywhere.
Oh gosh.
It was like a food thing, and they had us all come and just walk around to the tables with the dogs.
To make sure they didn't try and jump and get it?
Well, no. That was just the thing. We came in with the dogs and just kind of interacted with the tables. But yeah, we were all had a really tight rein on our animals because it was like fried chicken, and all this stuff around them. And so those were the ones that we had to do where we were monitored. And then after that, and then I also went to a couple of schools too. And that's where I saw the Read to a Dog program was through that. So that was like smaller groups. They would open it up, and so I took Teddy with me you know, to some of the schools in Greenville. And so I watched what they did,
Yeah.
and I said, oh, I could do that in Greenwood. And
Yeah.
so that idea just kind of led to the idea of doing the Teddy Time stuff here.
So you started like a read program at elementary school.
Yeah, I called it Teddy Time. I have my little, I had buttons made that said Teddy Time, you know, reading can be fun, read to a dog, and we would go to the schools, and then he knows a few little tricks. I mean, nothing major, but anything, you know, oh, they all get excited.
Yeah.
I'd let him pet him, you know, and then a few of the children would come out in the hallway or somewhere in the room, and they would sit and they would read to him.
Oh.
And then after that, if they read to him, I would put a little paw stamp on their, you know, hand or, you know, whatever,
Yeah.
so that they could go home and tell their parents
Aw,
if they read
that's
to a dog
cool.
today, you know.
What was it like for you to see Teddy helping people?
Oh, it's just a heartwarming feeling. I mean, you know, he's very giving, and it makes me very proud of the dog, of course. To learn that some children who saw him on a regular basis had actually improved on their reading
Yeah.
grades or their tests, and so
That's
it was,
fun.
you know, it's,
Yeah.
of course, it's a nice feeling. I mean, it's like experiencing little miracles with him.
Yeah.
You know, and one time we were at the NHC, which is the nursing home, National Health Care Center, and the person, the director there, specifically asked me to come with Teddy, and I said, sure. I said, because I have a patient there. I really like to see how he responds to Teddy. And so it ended up that the patient used to be a veterinarian, and now he had kind of like Alzheimer's, and he just didn't talk to anybody, he didn't speak. I mean, he was, you know, a very distinguished looking man, and he would just sit there totally, almost, you know, not there. And as soon as Teddy walked into the room, he just like turned around and he looked at him, and he lifted his hand and he reached out, you know, and then Teddy came up to him and he just like pet Teddy. He said that was the most response I had ever seen from that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. When did Teddy retire from therapy work?
He probably retired a good, I'm gonna say at least 4 years ago. It was after my kids had left elementary school.
Is that a hard decision to make?
A little bit, because, you know, everybody thought he was so good at it,
Yeah.
and he seemed so happy doing it. But I'm just glad we had that opportunity to do that, you know, and help inspire other people like yourself,
Yeah.
you know, to go out and do things like that.
Do you think that you'll ever get another dog in the future and do therapy dog work? Maybe when your kids graduate?
Yeah, I could see myself definitely getting more involved with animals in general. Again, it's when the kids are older, and also when my own menagerie in my house, you know, through natural selection starts to taper down,
Yeah.
then I can do that.
What's some advice that you have for anyone contemplating about animal therapy work? Someone such as myself.
Someone such as yourself. Well, first of all, you got to do your research, and you need to have the right kind of animal.
Okay.
Something like Teddy, but not necessarily
Yeah.
Teddy. I mean, there's a lot of good doggies out there, and it doesn't always have to be a dog. I've taken my bearded dragon, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
I take him
wow.
out every once in a while. I take him to like my Sunday school classes. I took him to Petco for a couple of their functions, because bearded dragons are pretty laid back animals,
Yeah.
and also for educational purposes. So. I would tell you, like I said, to do the research, get the right kind of dog, and get the training. You know, don't just show up. Because I think I told you, one of the reasons I stopped going to the hospitals is because I was getting worried, because even though we might be cautious of things around, the patients aren't always cautious, and you know, a wheelchair can go over their tail, or someone who's heavily medicated could, you know, latch onto your dog's ear and not let go of it.
Yeah.
Or you might visit them during mealtime and they have, you know, chicken finger fry juice on their fingers, and he's a dog. He's gonna be like, oh. Or they drop their medication. on the floor and you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just there
Yeah,
so many
really.
things that you have to be really cautious about. Whereas with little kids, it's a little bit of a safer environment, you know, a little bit more controlled environment. And they're attentive. I mean, you still have to watch them and stuff, but they're pretty funny little kids. The dog.
Yeah.
So that's what I would tell you, and you're going to find that once you start doing that, a lot of people will want you to come. You know, you'll find that you'll have more people who want you to visit than you have the time for.
Yeah.
And then you have to just make that decision of what you want to do, what you want to expose the dog to, and all that. Where will you serve people the best? And if you get into a good organization like the one in Greenville, I mean, they still are going on, and I still get emails from them. We're having a parade, or this, or can we get some dogs to show up? I mean, I'm still on their mailing list. So, yeah, that would be my advice.